I just received my Canon EOS R5 Mark II, and I feel a little bit like an old man who's had some kid come around and reset everything in his house, from his TV to his computer, all the settings, everything changed. Worse still, I found some of my gear is incompatible with the new R5 Mark II. But before we get to the details, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera coverage. When I got the Canon EOS R5 back in July of 2020, I felt a little bit like an imposter. You see, I was new to full frame. I had started this channel, and while I'd use high-end APS-C cameras, a pro body like the 5 series, especially the R5 with its, well, capabilities that significantly leapfrog the competition, took me a bit of getting used to figuring out how to use the camera. It took me the better part of 7 or 8 months. This time around, here in August this time instead of July when I picked up the R5 Mark II, I didn't feel like an imposter anymore. But what I did feel like is an old man that I am. If you've ever had, well, your grandkids or your kids come and just start messing with the TV remote, the settings of the VCR, of whatever it is you have around the house, your camera, your television, your car. Worse is the car when you get in the car, your seat's been changed and everything. Well, that's kind of what I feel like Canon's done with the R5 Mark II. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the video settings, how they've been changed or moved around, and also some, well, hardware that's no longer compatible with the R5 Mark II. And we're going to talk about that hot shoe cover. This is the R5 Mark II right here. Let's see if I can bring it up really close if you can see that. That's the R5 Mark II. So what I thought we could do is we'll go ahead and do the unboxing right now. If you want to skip that, use the chapters down below. This is a long video, but I'm taking my time. It's in the evening. I had a rather rough day. I had to go down for a doctor's appointment, decided to pick up my R5 because it was right in the same area. I can't believe how things just kind of lined up. So let's go ahead and roll the unboxing. So the box looks exactly like the leaked images that I provided you with a few weeks ago. And from what I'm seeing so far, we've got the warranty card for Canada and the United States. So that's that right there. We've got the manual right here. And of course, what do we see right here? This is the new battery right here. This is the LP E6P battery. And I've only got one of them, the one that comes with it, because apparently, at least in Canada, where I picked up my gear at Downtown Camera, the accessories hadn't come in yet. So I only have one of these LP E6 batteries and the battery charger. I wonder if this looks any different from, well, look, this is the old one. So I'll leave that there. Let's open up the new one. So I'm not seeing a huge amount of difference, at least not with my glasses at this point. I don't see a huge amount of difference, so that's the new one. We'll put that over there with the battery. And my old charger. And the strap, again, just like we saw a couple of weeks ago, it's not in a plastic bag. It is the Mark II, the Canon R5 Mark II that has that on the sling. So I'll definitely add that. And now let's lift up the tray. And below, what do we have? Well, let's go to see what's in here. I bet we got some cables. So that's a USB-C cable. Came with it, so it's good to have that. Can never have enough of those. But at least I can't. And even though we have USB Type-C, what we have here is the cable protector. I still recommend using these. You know, if you're a bit of a klutz like me, use this, put it on your camera. I use it with my Mark V. Even though it's got a full-size HDMI, I highly recommend using this. All right, what do we have left? You know what that is. This is mine. I'm not looking at somebody else's leaked photos. Oh, here we go. I've never been more excited about a camera. When I got the R5 Mark I, I was actually a little bit petrified because I was buying well above what I was used to. So here we go. That's the Canon EOS R5, the Mark II. We can see the insignia there. And so first of all, what does it feel like in my hands? It doesn't, Now the problem with my finger right now, I can't tell you what it feels like to grip it. I honestly can't, because I can't bring my finger around. It's kind of hard to use a camera right now, but we can definitely see it's got that new on and lock switch. So on and lock, or on and of course off, and then the video is on this side. We're going to leave it on video because that's probably what I'm going to check out next. And this is where I encountered my first issue with Canon's LPE6NH batteries, the default standard for the Mark I. Ryan, cue the clip. So let's go ahead and put a battery in. Now I'm not going to test out some of the older batteries because we already know what's going to happen there. One thing I've heard about this LCD is that while it's got the same resolution, it actually provides better detail. It looks better than the Mark I, so I'll let you know how that is. And so let's go ahead and pop a battery in. Do we have anything I have to pull out? Nope, there's no other. You always got to check with electronics because sometimes you have to pull this tab, you have to do this, and I don't see anything there. So let's go ahead and put a battery in. The new one that came with the camera. Hopefully we've got enough of a charge on it. Okay, that's the cap. What I need is the battery. We can't charge a camera with a cap. Slide it in, and of course we have that little doorway right there. This little doorway right here, so we can use the dummy battery. I've got the Canon dummy battery. Plug it in, and let's do it this way here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Make sure you can see that. And oh yeah, the power's over here. And what am I getting? Nothing. Getting absolutely nothing. Try again. Okay, it's pretty weird that a battery would be dead, but let's go ahead and check that out. Let's put it on the charger, the new charger that I just got, and plug that in. I know you can't see this. I might just cut this and then do a recap. And since I had 3 Canon LPE6NH batteries, I thought let's go ahead and grab one of those from Studio A while I charge the LPE6 battery. So I'm back with an LPE6NH battery. Let's go ahead and try and put that in. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens when I try to power this on again. Okay, again, it's over here. Oh, yep, definitely it came to life. Look at that. So it's asking me what language, and I'm going to go ahead and say yes to English. Let's try this. Can you see that better there? Oh, the date. Let me bring this down here. Make sure I get the date right. Definitely not London. Okay, so I just went ahead and put in the date and time. Look at this. You can see that warning. Oh, well, it was there. And this is a good opportunity. You're going to see this happen several times throughout this video. I finally changed it. Make sure you go into the power saving mode and change dimming from 5 seconds to at the very least 30 seconds, or disable it because it's going to drive you nuts, at least while you're configuring the camera. So I had a warning saying, hey, you know what? This camera requires the new LPE6 battery. So it's asking me for a card right now. So let's go ahead and pop a card in. Turn it to off. And where's this? There it is. So let's go ahead and grab a 1 terabyte. So I got a 1 terabyte Angelbird CF Express Type B card. Pop that in there. It's recognizing it. Flip it back to on. So there we go, we get that message again. To get all the modes, we have to use the new battery. But that's fine because the battery they sent me is dead. Dead as a doornail, and I can verify that. I'm just getting that slow pulse of charging it. So let's go ahead and format this card first of all. So I'm just using this as though it's my regular one. Can you see that? So let's do that right here so you can see that. And where's format? I think I'm next one over. I've gone too far. It's hard seeing from this angle. Where's format? See, I'm having trouble because I went over too far because there's more menu items. So click format, card 1, and OK. So that's formatted. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go all the way back to this. Well, let's take a look at autofocus. Move your servo enabled. Autofocus area. I'll leave that set to there for now. I got to read up on that. So video, well, we definitely don't want that. So what are we in 1920 by 1080? So I'm going to go 4K U. Okay, and I want to do 29 frames per second, but I don't want to do long op. Oh dear. To say I was confused, well, was a little bit of an understatement. In the R5 Mark I, we could do 8K RAW up to 30 frames per second. 4K Fine, which is 8K over sample 4K, up to 30 frames per second. And we could actually go all the way up to 120 frames per second in 4K. Now, I am happy to report that Canon didn't remove any of the video resolutions and frame rates or any of the combinations therein. They even added a few. But they did move things around and change the names and the labels, making it, well, a little bit of a learning experience. And I'm going to share a few of those with you now. To be able to record 4K Fine, make sure you have not only the new battery, but also select XF AVC-S, YCC 422 10-bit. Those two XF AVC modes use H.264. XF HEVC, well, that uses H.265. Once this is done, Intra is now selectable, giving me 4K Fine, 30 frames per second Intra, which is all I. My next problem was finding out where to enable Canon Log 2. It's not the third menu option anymore. It's now the fourth. Select Custom Picture. Enable the function by turning it on. Select CP file, and then choose your profile. Now back at the menu, it does show C2 and not Canon Log 2. So Canon, if you're listening, and I know you are, let's go ahead and make this a change in a firmware update. Instead of just saying C2, C1, or C3, could you at least spell out what the actual custom profile is, whether it's using Canon Log 2, Canon Log 3, and if we've actually altered it from the default, we've unprotected it, if you could just go ahead and put an asterisk there, that would be great. I'm pretty good at remembering things, but you see, for me, when I think C2, I think of one of the custom menu modes, C2. So it would be appreciated if you would go ahead and change that. All right, and if you guys are wondering if Canon actually does watch this channel, they do. I know many people at Canon do, and actually to check on things, I actually had to make a couple of calls. I made a call to Canon USA and Canon Canada for support because they're still getting new with this, and each time, each department had to send me off to the Canon Cinema department to help answer my questions. And when I reached one of the call centers, the person said to me, "You're the ordinary filmmaker, you're Simon Yates, aren't you?" I said, "How do you know?" I said, "I can tell by your voice." So I know Canon does watch. But suffice it to say, if you're a video shooter, you're going to have to use the LPE6P batteries. Even the ones found in the Canon EOS R5, the Mark I, the LPE6 and H batteries, you can't do 8K, you can't do 4K Fine, you can't even do 4K 120 frames per second, and I know where you're going, we can't even do 240 frames per second in 2K or Full HD. So for shooting video, you have to have those new batteries, but to make matters worse, while I did pre-order a pair of them, along with the battery grip and a new hot shoe cover, I'll talk about that in just a moment, as well as the new eye cup, none of it showed up. Thankfully, the store got a lot of Canon EOS R5 Mark IIs, and just as I was leaving the store because I had to rush to catch a train back, one of my subscribers showed up right after me to pick up his camera, so that was really, really good. But I want to talk about this hot shoe. I reported about it a little earlier on, about a week ago, saying how hard it is to remove, and it is. It really is. After doing it about 10 times, I didn't find it as difficult. I think, how should I say this? It's more about technique. And let me go ahead and cue the clip here, because using the right technique can mean the difference between getting it off or accidentally knocking your camera to the floor, or, you know, applying undue pressure on the EVF. Simply grab the hot shoe cover from the side. And we're not looking for any death grip here. Press down on that tab and slowly pull the hot shoe cover off. After doing this for about 10 times, it became a whole lot easier to get off. However, if you do find it a little bit too difficult to get off, maybe it's cold, maybe you just have trouble gripping it, there's a very simple solution to this. Go ahead and get the hot shoe cover for the Canon EOS R3. It also fits on here, as well as, I think it's the Canon EOS R8 or it's the R6, I can't remember, but the one from the R3, that's my recommendation. But now I want to talk to you about another piece of kit that's not compatible with the R5 Mark II. And some of you are going to find this a little bit frustrating. One thing I wanted to check, because if I was thinking of sending my R5, the Mark I, into service to have it cleaned, and I thought, well, let's go ahead and make sure I can attach the dummy battery, I can put everything and get it all set up. I had the right cable for the Ninja. And what I found out is while the battery, the dummy battery, and I purchased this from Canon, this is all Canon approved parts for the R5, the Mark I, I pressed out this little tab right here. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. It's, oops, I almost knocked the table over. It's right here, right in there. And then you can get the battery, you can put it in there, the dummy battery, close the door, and guess what? I turned it on, nothing, zippo, zilch. So I reached out to my local camera store and said, hey, I need a new one of these. And so they fired off an email to Canon Canada finding out, hey, what's going on? What does he need? Will it work? Is it a firmware update or anything like that? I mean, yes, it's just pulling power from the mains, but there is a power brick between the dummy battery. So there's two pieces to it from Canon, and actually two products. And I'm hoping that the dummy battery part will work perfectly fine. And it's just the power brick that needs replacement, or one or the other. I hope I don't have to replace both. So that is a little bit frustrating. Another thing too, as I speculated, I have a Canon LP-E6 battery. And what I did is I tried that by putting it in the R5, the Mark II, closed the door, turned it on, nothing. Zippo. And in fact, when I tried to eject it, which is why I haven't put it in right now, it didn't come out all the way. So regardless of whether you're using a third-party LP-E6 battery or not, even the Canon OEM ones will not power on this R5 Mark II, at least not the one that I have. And the LP-E6 and H batteries, the level of functionality is significantly reduced. So yeah, a little bit frustrating there. But what I want to do now is I want to say a special thank you, because this channel wouldn't be here without, well, the support of an awful lot of people. First of all, for you, for watching at home, for commenting, for those that have pre-ordered the Canon EOS R5 Mark II and any other camera gear, a big thanks to you, because you're one of the reasons why this channel is on the air. But I also want to say a special thank you to my family, to my wife, is actually sending me something right now, because the amount of support she provides me. I have a day job, and so she's always making meals before she leaves for work. She has breakfast made for us, lunch and dinner ready for us. She does so much work around the house. She takes a higher load so I can spend more time doing this, because this is more than just a hobby now. It's a business for us. This is going to help us towards our retirement goal, and keeping this job as part of my retirement. This is not something I'm going to stop doing when I retire. But I also want to say a special thank you to Patrick at Downtown Camera. This is Patrick right here. This morning I had to rush in. I said to him, look, I'm down here on a doctor's appointment. Instead of shipping it out to me, is there any chance I can come by early to pick it up? And you know what? He said, you know what? I'll be there in a few minutes. The store normally opens at 10:30. I was there at about 9:45. He opened the door. I was able to come in, buy the camera, and leave and catch the train to go back up north. Because I was just downtown for a doctor's appointment, not related to this, for something else. I feel like a 20-year-old camera. Everything's falling apart. So a big thank you to Patrick at Downtown Camera. If you're from Canada and you're looking at buying camera gear, I know we have a lot of great camera stores. Patrick at Downtown Camera, or the entire chain, they will ship to anywhere within the country. And they usually use UPS. That's what I was planning on doing here. It was going to show up later today, and I was really looking forward to that. But the support and service, Patrick's been in the camera business for decades. He knows about customer experience. It's not just about providing camera gear. It's not just about sales. It's about supporting pre and post sales. And Patrick's been terrific. I mean, the amount of cameras he's selling there today of the R5 Mark II, yet he's still finding time to respond to my questions about stuff, and that's really terrific. And also, because I cover Canon rumors or Sony rumors, whenever I want something, I usually know before anybody else. Because they don't use an automated system like B&H or Adorama, I can usually say, look, I don't know where you are on your list, but please put me on your list. I want to be one of the first to get this camera. And to be able to have that is really terrific. So if you're interested, please mention my name, because I don't get any kickback from it, but it shows Patrick that it's my way of giving him a monetary thank you for the support that he provides me in this channel. And again, if you have a bad experience with any other camera store, if you're not getting the support, if they just look at you and laugh whenever you ask for a discount or try to negotiate, give Patrick a call, mention my name, and I can guarantee you he's going to put a smile on your face. And if you're looking for an R5 Mark II, I think the wait time in Canada isn't going to be very long. He didn't tell me specifics, but from what he indicated to me is almost everybody that pre-ordered is going to get a camera. And that's a big deal. We might have to wait a couple of weeks for more to come in, but at least remember, each country gets their own allotment, but at least here in Canada, what it looks like is stores are getting a significant amount. And I've got mine now, but unfortunately it's late in the evening now. It's getting dark around 8 o'clock. It's too late. I can't shoot with it. I haven't been able to go out and shoot with it. I had to charge the battery. It took about 2 hours to charge the battery because I had to take it out, try settings, start charging in, and I spent about an hour on the phone with Canon support, just trying to learn things. So when I came to you with information here in this video, I was providing you with facts. One of the things I was surprised is that with 4K fine, we can't do H.265, and I could have sworn that there was an option to do H.265 on the Mark I, and that isn't the case. I think there was some mode if you did Canon Log 3, Canon Log 1, and HDR-PQ, you might have, but it's essentially the same. But we've got a new sensor, a stacked sensor, so hopefully tomorrow or maybe on the weekend, I can get out and start shooting with this camera. I want to see what it's like. I want to get out around noon because I'm going to have to recalibrate. I've got a Calibrite color grading card. I forgot the name of the product, but that's close. Calibrite is the brand name. And I always like to do it around 10 o'clock to noon because that's when the temperature is around 5,600 degrees. And then throughout the rest of the year, I can copy the attributes and paste it onto other videos. But because I'm shooting with a new camera, with a new sensor, with a new log profile, I don't know how it could look different from the previous camera. So I've got to do that. I know, it's a long video and it's been a long day. I'm looking forward to going back to work tomorrow. Anyhow, let me know how things went for you. I know looking at B&H, let me take another look. I think of everybody who pre-ordered using my links, when I checked earlier, 50% of the pre-orders had been shipped. But I don't always get updates immediately. So let's go ahead and take a look at B&H and see, because whenever they ship it out, they always change something on it so they know. It's their way of saying, okay, you're going to get a commission for this versus, nope, somebody canceled. So I have to change the date. Let's go back and just do May to August. Yeah, so nothing else has changed. There's still 183 products pending. I had about 300. Some of those are batteries, battery grips, and whatnot. So it's good to see that with over 300 products pre-ordered, B&H has managed to clear out half of those. I don't see the same information through Adorama. So fingers crossed. I don't think you're going to have to wait 6 months or anything like that. I wouldn't be surprised if within a month to 6 weeks, all these orders will be cleared up. And I think that's exciting and good news for a lot of people. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Hopefully, I've got another video I've got planned. I guess I'll shoot that tomorrow. The problem with doing these videos is I'm actually not out there shooting, and that's really frustrating for me. I want to get out and start shooting. But thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon.